Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I'm here today to take you for a little trip down 60% Blue Town Lane. This is a video I've long planned doing, and it's basically something I get asked an awful lot. How can I get to 60%? And it's going to be part of a long series. And the reason I wanted to do it is because people say those things to you. They say, how do I get to 60%? And it's like, wow, it's not like saying, press this button here. It's really a tough thing to put into words. And I decided what I was going to do was break it down into really simple video situations and give people the tools they need to actually improve their win rate, not just know about the tanks. And for a lot of you guys, this is probably going to be counterproductive, and I don't know if you're going to be interested in it or not, but watch along and see if you learn something. You never know. I certainly learn a lot from watching other videos on YouTube, so this may well be something that we can take forward. It's like a sport, really. You have to do the right things, but you have to do them a lot of times. You have to put in repetition so that it becomes second nature and things happen automatically time and time again. So even if you know the things that you want to do, it has to be automatic. It can't be something that happens and is really laborious. And that's going to be the case at first. It's going to be tough to do this stuff at first, but you need to put this into your gameplay. You need to take the words and put them into your gameplay. Now, the number one rule, if you want to become a blue 60% win rate player, is no YOLO. You cannot be a YOLO player and get a good win rate. There's two light tanks ahead of me. There's only two red spotted. Both of them have been spotted by these light guys, and they've both pushed up to put damage on. That means that, in essence, there are 5 red tanks right now that we do not know the whereabouts of. They could be absolutely anywhere on the map. And that's why I'm sitting here. Now, I am on the front line, but I'm not suicidally on the front line like that RU251 is. He is going to take damage. You'll also note something that's really, really simple, and you're going to see it throughout all these videos, is when there is soft cover available, I drive behind it, and we're going to get to that later. But no YOLO. Now, it's bad enough that these guys have pushed up. I haven't, and I've got hard cover on my right and soft cover, so camo will reset for me, and I've got no problems dodging damage because I have a very, very simple position. The LTTB is going to YOLO his pants off because he wants to get the kill on the 54 Mod 1. The 54 lightweight has pushed up and been killed by an RU251. You can see a Yag Panther pushing up there now. That's at least 3 to 4 tanks are in the vicinity there, and that LTTB has rushed down to get the kill. He will have a very, very, very short game. It's going to be 5 minutes 30 into the game, and he will be dead. And that's why you do not YOLO. You are more than happy to move forward into cover and into a strong position, but you never go forward when you don't know where the enemy are and where you are likely to get absolutely spanked. And that's just a simple, simple thing that will improve your win rate straight away. If you put that into your gameplay and stop YOLOing and stop pushing on tanks when you don't know where the rest of the enemy are, then you will be absolutely happy days. So that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is move through cover. It sounds kind of a little bit more advanced. It's not really. All I'm talking about there is when you're going to fire or when you're going to engage an enemy tank, you want to do it from a position where there is cover. Just like you saw me in the last game, and I was absolutely in cover. In this game, I am in a really strong hull down position, and I'm putting shots in, just taking my time, doing the very, very best I can, but I'm not giving the enemy much in the way of shots. And this isn't about amazing gameplay. This is all about simple stuff. When I push, I can see that T-43 is there, and I'm going to push because there's a shot here. I'm going to move to cover. Look at the left-hand side of me. There's a rock there. If I am actually hitting targets and I'm not getting hit, that is how you win the game. I mean, in its essence, that's how you win the game. And that IS was never going to hit that shot on the move with that 122mm. I'm now pushing down again. You know how we talk about people who will YOLO for the kill? That's what this Helsing's doing. He's trying to get there after I've shot the IS to hell and get the kill. and he didn't really care what was going to happen to him. He just wanted that kill spam. I wasn't giving it to him. And then I'm going to move up to here, and again, soft cover. You see the brush? I'm always moving to where there's bush, Kemp bush all the time. And if I can't, I'm going to push forward and pull back. And we're going to have a quick look here. Really, really simple. 3 still images, and I'm going to show you the 3 firing positions I use there to put shots in on targets. Really, really simple stuff. First firing position, I'm hull down. And I'm using the scent for this video because it's a very soft tank. It's got a semi-strong turret. Second firing position, again, I've got hard cover on my left. Third firing position, I've got soft cover and I can pull back across the other side anytime I want and be successful. So the first 2 things, no YOLO and fire to cover and then maintain it and move again. The second one is a little bit trickier. This is about making yourself a hard target and almost outthinking the enemy. I've seen that they've got an SU-152, they've got a whole bunch of TDs. And if I know anything, this is where they're going to be, up the top there. So I put a shot in. The reason I do that is to see if I get spotted. And I move forward and back, and I drag a shot out of that SU-100. Then I pull back, and I move forward, and I move back, and I move forward. And I'm trying to get him to fire, because when he fires, I'm completely capable of putting a shot back into him. Now, this is a little bit intuition and a little bit of just being crafty and sneaky. And you've got to get that into your gameplay. Like, good players are very crafty and sneaky, and they'll often fire the gun off just to see if they get spotted. And you can see that I fire the gun off, and I don't just sit there, I pull back. And then I wait, I move forward, there's the light bulb, so I pull forward and I move back again. And I drag the shot out of the SU-100M1. He's now spotted because he's not far away behind the bushes to actually, you can see he's not in full soft cover there. Now, I'm giving him a chance. I'm enticing him. I'm giving him a little bit of leg. I'm just showing you, hey, have a look at what you could get here. I see the muzzle flash, the smoke. I can get a shot in again, and that's when I know I'm safe. I pull back. I'm dragging shots out of him. He really wants to hit me now because the basic psychology of this game is so simple, and you can see, again, he's fired. So I know I'm free and clear to put heat into him. I'll put AP into him. The basic psychology of people is if they actually get hit, they will try and hit you back. And we're going to touch on that a little bit later. But so 3 things. You've got to be crafty. You've got to be able to use your brain and think about where the enemy is likely to be. And then you have to not give them easy shots. If you're not in full cover, you should, for God's sakes, never stop moving. Now, this might be a little bit too much all at once, but it's good stuff to try and get into your gameplay. I'm at the back. I am using soft cover again. I mean, this tank has a very, very soft lower glacis hull, everything else. But the Borsig is pushing up. I don't have a lot of friends over here if he dies, and I know there are 3 tanks ahead of me. This is where you have to be very, very aware of what's in front of you. I've spotted 3 tanks here. I've spotted tanks over there. I'm pretty certain there's only 3 here. The Borsig's getting aggressive. There he is. He's pushed right up. What I'm going to do is push with him. Look for the mini-map and look for your teammates. Always watching the mini-map, and I should have actually mentioned that as the very, very first skill. If you've ever watched me and Snake Eyes and the boys in the stream, you'll hear me counting targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're missing 1 or we're missing 2. I've got all targets. I know where everyone is. It's a really simple habit. You should be doing it every time you start. And then you're able to make educated guesses. And I know there's only 3 here. I know the Borsig's pushing, so I'm going to push with him. Look for the mini-map. Look for what your team's doing. And sometimes, if they're going to push, join in and help them. Now, before, what I was talking about with this tank in particular, it's a soft tank. It's got a reasonably strong turret. But that doesn't mean that you have to engage. And this is what I'm doing here. This is really quite I don't know. But I don't know how to explain this. Let me put it this way. There's a T-54 lightweight there. He's got an excellent, strong turret. He's hull down. I don't know where everyone else on this map is. So what I'm going to do is actually not engage the tank. I'm going to wait for him to pop off the map. And when he does, I'm going to move. Okay. So he's popped. I'm unspotted. He's unspotted. And I'm going to move. Because that engagement was no good for me at all. There's not a lot of tanks spotted. I'm moving over here on the off chance that I'm going to get some shots as people move around. And I do. There's the SP1C. And that 54 lightweight has actually pulled the pin and decided that that's a terrible place to go, which makes me think of two things. One, he has no support here. He's moving because he's got no support, and I'm going to be able to actually get a lot of shots in on the right-hand side in a second, because there is no way that guy's bailing if he has tanks with him. So what I'm going to do here now is pretty simple. After actually engaging that 54 lightweight, getting shots into the SP1C, I'm looking for a big push on the right flank, and wouldn't you know it, there it is. The Tiger 2, the IS-3, the KV-5, they're all over there. Now I'm going to have a couple of Barry Crockers here in terms of actually putting effective fire and taking some really bad shots. I could have gone IPCR here and I would have penned with that, but I didn't. So I try and do the same thing again with the IS-3, don't pen. Don't know where that went. You don't have to engage every target. What you need to be doing is looking at the map and deciding where everyone is based on player behavior and like your experience, your knowledge, and that's all well and good. But if I had have engaged that 54 lightweight and these guys had have been behind him, I would have got swamped. As it was, it came out very, very nicely for me, and I've been putting shots into the right-hand side of the map the whole time. But much like when that Borsig moved up and I went with him, we're now in a situation where if I don't move up, these guys over here are going to be severely outnumbered and outgunned. Now, there was nothing wrong with putting shots in from over there because I actually wanted to get free shots in and I got them. And as long as you're putting effective fire in, don't let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong. But I moved up here. Now, there's a reason I moved up right in front of these guys. I'm hoping that they'll actually start shooting at me. When I see they're not changing targets and I can't share my hit points with that IS-3, I just simply move around. Now, this is the final thing. This is the final thing I'm going to show you in this video. And there'll be other videos. I'll be driving heavies, I'll be driving mediums, I'll be driving lights, I'll be driving TDs. This is where I'm going to take apart this KV-5. Now, I'm in a tank that is not exactly renowned for its brawling skills, but I'm doing some really simple stuff, and this is stuff you can do whenever you are actually brawling. Now, I'm going to miss a few shots here because I'm not actually zoomed in, but that's all right. I'm really worried about where that Tiger's gone. He's buggered off, and I just want to be aware less about actually getting shots in and more about not taking a whole heap of damage, and that's what I do. I'm going to stop this and I'm going to break this down really, really simply, because this is absolute must know if you want to be a successful driver of anything remotely mobile and you want to be able to take on big heavy tanks in very, very close proximity and brawl with them without taking all the damage in the world. I like to call this squaring off. I don't know what other people call it, but I square off and I side hug. Now, even if you are a big tank like Ascent, if you're going to side hug, and you can see I angled into that little bit of rock there, the little bit of debris next to the actual building. If you want to side hug, what it does is if they're zoomed in particularly, it makes it very, very difficult for them to get a clear target. You're massive in the middle of their screen and they can't see. And then every time they start looking like they're going to get a shot on you, you pull back in the other direction. Now, you're going to see me do this a couple of times. And I start reversing away from the gun. The gun is the key here. I'm not really trying to get away from the tank. I'm trying to get as close to the tank as I can be at all times. It limits his ability to traverse his tank. It limits his ability, and then I'm going to go backwards again. And it means that I get more time on target before he actually fires a shot. And I stay really close again because I don't want him getting his gun down and hitting the really soft part of my tank. So he gets very, very poor shots and he's missing them because I'm rushing him and I let him go straight past again and he dies. So I just want to recap a few things there. Really, really simple stuff all throughout. But you want to take these and you want to put them into your game. You want to do reps, just like lifting a weight. Your arms are going to get bigger. Your legs are going to get bigger. You're not going to skip leg day because leg day is looking at the map. Doing curls for the girls is moving from cover to cover. I love this crap. No YOLO. Never YOLO. If you drive a Dracula, stop driving it like a YOLOing fool. Don't always engage the enemy. It is not necessary. It is not something you have to do. If you don't like the rules of the engagement, bugger off. If you think they're too strong for you frontally and you're in a light tank, bugger off. If you're in a TD, don't push up on a medium tank or a light tank just because they're in front of you. Wait for them to come to you. You set the rules of engagements. No YOLO. And YOLOing is like driving forward in a TD towards 2 medium tanks. One of them is going to get behind you. Don't do it. The other one is look for your teammates. So you've counted, you know how many people are out there. Look for your teammates and follow them along. Now, you're not going to win every match. That's not what this is about. It's about getting to 60%. It's about getting to blue. If you want to get to blue, put these simple things into your gameplay. Make them your Bible, make them your litany. These are the things that you are going to be trying to do every single time you come out of the gate. And if I could suggest one thing you start with, it's count the bloody tanks so that you know where they are when they're spotted, you know how many are left, you know the likelihood of where they're going to be, and you know the kind of tanks and where they are. Those kind of things allow you to make educated decisions, and that alone will increase your win rate by a big bloody margin. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield.